Gotham Season 4, Episode 9, Let Them Eat Pie. So this was actually a pretty awesome episode. It is the end of Pig as far as, like an actual villain. He's in the next episode, but he's, of course in Arkham. I'm sure he'll escape at some point in the future or, something random like that. But this is his final episode as a villain within the city. Still doing his crazy thing. He, kills these, like homeless people. He poisons them and then he sets them up to look super fancy, and he puts the pigs in the pen with him, and the pigs end up eating one of the guys, which is gross, but pigs actually do that. And Jim is, of course, going through the process of being the new captain. And it's pretty simple in this episode as far as, like, he's the new captain and stuff. Everything kind of works out fine. Like, the only real bit of tension was, of course, him and Bullock, early on in the episode. And it's like, okay, well, that's natural. And Bullock said, like, I don't really want to come back here and just be, watching you all day. So, not sure when we'll see Bullock again, but of course, I'm sure he'll still be in the show. But after that, it's pretty simple. It's like, all right, well, Pig did this thing. He gave us a call, and they just kind of go throughout the day, and ultimately, Jim succeeds. Like, everything works out pretty fine. Harper gets stabbed, so that wasn't too great for her. But in the end, everyone's saved. No one else outside the people in the beginning actually end up getting killed. Like, a couple people get knocked out. Jim himself even ends up getting knocked out. But when it all comes down to it, Pig is captured. They actually had a pretty cool action sequence with them, like, fighting on the table and stuff. I was like, wow, I was not expecting Pig to actually, be like a fighter or anything like that. That's not how I thought he would end up being captured. But they had a crazy fight. They're flipping and rolling around on the table. So definitely love the fight sequence and how all that played out. But Jim ends up defeating Pig, and he's gone. But it was some of the other stuff in this episode that really entertained me, and it was definitely Penguin finally getting to, getting some of the answers that he's been looking for, because he suspected that Sophia, because they said her name, I finally remembered, Sophia Falcone. He, of course, suspected that Sophia was his enemy, talking about friends and stuff in the last episode, and he's going through and he has the kid, I want to say his name was Martine, and so he has him spy on her, and she busted him, so I don't know what that means, because we don't get a conclusion to that scene where Martine was, just standing in the hallway. He was writing something down, and then she's like, what is that? Like, what are you writing? So I didn't know how that was going to play out, and I don't know if that was her plan, or if that was legitimate at the end of the episode when Martine sees her kissing Jim. I was like, I didn't really think too much on it, until after, and it was just like, now that I think about it, we didn't have much of a resolution to when she busted Martine, and then it's like, did she set all that up in advance? I mean, it could have just been any situation. Of course, she didn't know what Pig was going to do, but it's like, maybe she was like, hey, whenever Jim is around, maybe you could just kind of let Penguin know that I kissed him or whatever, and because she did say, like, he means less than nothing to me, and then after that she kissed him, and then it's like, I don't know if that was a plan, or if she actually kissed him because she wanted to, and then it's like, well, why would she want to, because she's never shown any interest, but at the same time, it's hard to tell what in the world's going on with her, because she's, I feel like, kind of playing both of them so that she can ultimately end up on top. So it was just like, I don't know if Martine seeing them kiss at the end was a benefit to Penguin, or if that was a benefit to Sophia. So I'm still kind of up in the air on that, because I'm like, of course, Penguin had him helping in the beginning, but then Sophia caught him, and we never got a resolution to that. We don't know what he was writing, which I'm sure was just, she went this way, or, whatever. But she knows that he was spying on her. So, was that all just a setup at the end of the episode? But it's so hard to say, because she didn't know any of that stuff was going to happen with Pig. I just don't know. It's like, it's really hard to say, because it was all random circumstance that led to that moment of Jim even being there, because he wouldn't have been there if it weren't for Pig showing up to, force people to eat human pies. So it was really hard to say. I'm like, I don't know if that was actually Martine helping Penguin out, or if that was, Martine kind of switching sides, and now he's helping Sophia out. So that was kind of confusing for me at the end. It's just like, I don't know what to think, because once it comes down to it, all I have to think is, if I had to choose, I would say that was a setup, because I have to wonder, why would she kiss Jim? Like after everything they've gone through, like, there was that tiny little bit of tension when they first met and stuff, but other than that, just kind of just been the full business partner deal. So it's so hard to tell with this woman, like, if she's playing both of them, or if it's all just a play on Penguin, and she just used Jim for those couple of seconds. So I don't know. It's just so hard to tell. It's like maybe Martine was there on purpose because she wanted him there. Maybe it was an accident, so it is to actually help Penguin. But either way, he knows, that she was lying about the Jim thing. It just has to kind of come to fruition whether or not she was lying on purpose, or or was lying to trick him, or if she was just genuinely lying just to lie. So it's really hard to tell in that situation, honestly. And I don't know. I probably wouldn't have thought that if it weren't for like the last episode where she was talking to Jim and he was talking about like, oh, we're done and everything, and it's like, oh, maybe she's playing him now too. If it weren't for like those moments in the last episode, I probably wouldn't even think that. But now it's like, I have no idea what she's planning. I know she's been playing Penguin this whole time, but now it's like, is she still playing Penguin? Is she just using Jim? Is she, kind of playing both of them? Because you never know with Penguin. He might go after her first, but he might also go after Jim first, just because clearly Penguin is in this really crazy state, and that's kind of why I like his story the most out of this episode, because he had the chance to get rid of her. He suspected her in the beginning, and then before everything got started, they're talking back and forth, and he's like, look, if you're going to confess, then just confess. And while they're in the middle of it, that's when Pig comes in, and it throws off everything that was about to happen there. But this is actually a really great scene because clearly Pig does not mess around. Sophia tried to, shut everything down. It's like, you need to stop this madness. And he was like, okay. And he just takes that ice pick and stabs her in the hand. And when Penguin was about to pull it out, he was like, if you pull it out, the next time I do it, it'll go in her eye. And he could have pulled it right out. And she said, don't do it. And he looks at him and is like, okay. And he takes his hand away. And I was like, that was his moment if he wanted her dead. But Penguin needs friends, and I don't know. I feel like that was a part of why he didn't do it. It was because he, even he says it even to. I'm just gonna call him his butler because that's his assistant or whatever. But he says, the guy was saying like, we could get Zaz, we could get Victor to kind of talk to her if you want. And he's like, you do realize she's my only friend, and it's like, I need proof. And maybe he just didn't feel like he had enough, because technically she hadn't confessed when they were still talking about it. She was just kind of making it more obvious that it was her, because she was trying to say like, oh, the person that put Jim in charge may or may not have actually just saved you and stuff, trying to just change his opinion on everything. And maybe it worked. It's hard to say, or maybe it's just from Penguin's side of things where it's like, my last friend was Ed and I fell in love with him, he didn't love me, I killed his girlfriend, put him on ice, lots of crazy things there. And now I have this new friend who is trying to trick me and, get rid of me and, take over the city. So, I don't know. It's hard to say where Penguin's head is at. I'm sure he's pissed. Definitely by the end of the episode, he's in such a crazy state, because he totally could have gotten rid of her if that's what he wanted to do. He could have just taken it right out and been like, fine, go ahead. He could, he could have just played it up like, I don't believe you, and got her killed if that's what he wanted to do. But he didn't. So, very interesting storyline as far as, what Penguin is going through. And then, of course, the other side story was, Bruce coming back as, like, crazy, young, drugged up Bruce. And his whole deal with Alfred. Okay, Alfred in this episode, first off, was great. Like, he's always awesome. This got to be, like, my favorite version of Alfred ever. But in the beginning, he was really trying to help Bruce out. It's like, look, you killed this guy. I'm still wondering if somehow, I don't know, in my head, I'm just like, I don't know. Ra's al Ghul might come back to life. We might see that actor come back again. It's Ra's al Ghul. I do not know. But, it's like, you killed this guy, and that changed you. And now you kind of, you kind of lost, because the drive for revenge against, whoever it was that killed your parents, that was you. That was your life, and that's who you were for such a long time. And now you don't have that. You're just kind of up in the air. You're just like free falling at this point. You don't know what to do, and he's trying to help him out. Alfred's trying to do everything he can for Bruce, and he tries to take him on this trip that Bruce and his dad would always go on every year, where they put the rocks up. And it's like, all right, get your coffee, get your kit. We're gonna go on this walk, and they're gonna have this moment. And I was kind of looking forward to that. I thought it was gonna be pretty cool, and they kind of had it a little where Alfred tells him this story. It's like, do you know how I met your father? And he tells him like the whole story. It's like, these are the details where your dad saved my life. Like, I was ready to kind of just give up on myself, and I went to turn myself in, and your dad, ended up saving me. So, that's how we are, here. That's how we're here right now, and I get to be this person for you, is because excuse me, your father saved me, and now I have to be here, to save you. And he fell for the old trick. Bruce is like, I hear what you're saying, but I just, I can't listen to it right now. And I was like, okay, that's totally understandable. And then he was like, I forgot what he asked for, but as soon as Alfred was like, yeah, it's in the car, and he threw him the keys, I was like, ah, fool. I wasn't even paying 100% attention, but I heard him ask for something, and I was like looking down, he's like, yeah, it's in the car. And I was just like, that's it. And of course he got in the car and he drove away, and I was like, that was really messed up. And so of course Alfred was insanely pissed. He got there, it was in the afternoon, because they make that whole point about breakfast and how it was close to lunch. So it was somewhere in the afternoon, but he still didn't get back home until night. And everybody's partying, they're throwing, whatever they were throwing into like the suit of armor and stuff. Everybody's, having fun. And Alfred shows up and Bruce is like, oh, Alfred, how was your walk? And he's talking to him, he's like, everybody get out. And Bruce is like, they're my friends, nobody move. And that dude stood up to Alfred and was like, your bow is a little out of line. And Alfred saying that you are in so much danger that you don't even understand was like the funniest thing in the world to me. He was like, you don't understand how much danger you're in, so if I were you, I would back up. And he's just like, he does the typical thing that everyone does when they don't want to look scared, but everybody knows anyway. He's like, whatever, let's go to the club. And everybody leaves because Alfred was about to go into like full-on Terminator mode and kill a bunch of people. So that scene was hilarious when he said that to him, and he like freaked that guy out. But I don't know where they're headed, with Bruce's character. And it seems, depending on how much Alfred and Bruce play a part in the next episode, coming up in 2 weeks, or I guess technically next week, because I'm so far behind on this episode. But I don't know how much they're going to be in the next episode, but there's a lot that seems to be going down there. And I feel like that would be a great sort of continuation of this storyline, is to see Bruce be in this crazy state and then get thrust into all the madness that's actually happening in the city. Because so far, ever since he killed Raish, he's kind of been detached. Like, he's been his own storyline where he hasn't been with anybody else. It's been just him and Alfred, and that's pretty much all there's been to it. Like, ever since Raish, was killed off. Like, before that, they were still talking with Jim, and they were still involved with the cases, and that's when Bruce was, making up the Playboy persona, or, the little brat persona. But after he actually got his revenge, he like spiraled. There was nothing for him anymore. It was just like, I got my revenge, plus I had to kill a dude to do it, which, it was like that good thing and then that horrible thing just meshing together and really effing up his mind, and that's kind of just where he's at. So I would love to see him be in that situation, and then he's thrown into some of the other storylines that are actually going on in the episode. Like, obviously he can't be involved with Pig anymore, but there's stuff going on in the Narrows, obviously. Something crazy ends up happening with Penguin, where he's talking about, like, he wanted a war, so now you have one. I assume that was him talking with either Lee or, Ed, or possibly even Grundy. I doubt it was Grundy, but he was yelling at somebody about having a war, so I assume that, there's going to be a battle between the Narrows. It also could have been Sophia, even, if that's how it was going to play out. Or even Jim. Like, there's so many people who Penguin, everybody's his enemy, so you never know. But I really do hope that somehow Bruce kind of gets himself wrapped up in some of the other storylines, because I think now is like the perfect time with him being confronted by Alfred. They could do another episode of that, because this was the first time we really got to see him being confronted by Alfred as far as his current position in life. But I would love to see him get thrown into the rest of the stories and how he ends up handling that, because he's not that young Batman anymore. He's just the kid Bruce Wayne who's like trying to escape all the emotions that he's having right now. So I would love to see him thrown into some of the main stories. I don't know if that'll happen, but I think it would be a good bit of progression for his character. But love that storyline. And like I said, I think Penguin's is definitely my favorite, but Bruce's I thought was really well done. And then, of course, the whole thing with Pig anyway, all of that stuff was pretty cool too, but I just didn't think it was as intriguing as what happened with Bruce and Penguin. And like I said, specifically with Penguin, where it's like, I don't know where his head is anymore, because he wanted her dead. He had the opportunity, because he knows, like, everything she was saying to try to, like I said, change his mind. He knew that it was her, but I don't know if it's because he needs that 100% proof, and that's why he didn't just take the ice pick out and then, let her get killed. But for whatever reason, he didn't. He definitely did kill that dude next to him, though, when he was like, he's just an orphan, and he stabbed the guy in the head. I didn't think he was going to do that. I thought he was going to stab him in the hand. And it was like, nope, from hand to head. And I was like, oh, well, he died. That I was not expecting, to be totally honest, so it kind of caught me off guard when he killed him that way. But, yeah, I think his storyline, for me at least, was the most entertaining, because I'm just like, I don't know where he's headed with, mentally, how he's feeling about Sophia betraying him, but also her being his only real friend. So it's fun to kind of watch that dynamic of him kind of picking and choosing these moments to be like, all right, I want her dead, but I really need some friends. So like he's in this weird in between state, and then he gets the info at the end, which, like I said, it's hard to tell now if all of what Sophia is doing is a part of the ploy. Like maybe she knew Martine was there, maybe, like I said, maybe he's working for her, maybe he's not, and she just did that just to have that information kind of scurried off to Penguin. But it's so insanely hard to tell with her. And then now I'm just super confused as to what in the world he wants to do, because like I said, he had his opportunity, but he didn't kill her, or he did let her get killed or whatever. So I don't know where it's headed, but the two side stories were definitely what I would consider like the best parts of the episode. Jim definitely had some good stuff in here. At the end, after everything is all said and done, he's thanked. Whereas, like, they were wondering, like, how is him taking over as the captain? How is that going to make a difference? They question him about replacing Bullock. They question him because Pig put out the information about him, like, grilling people up and stuff like that. So, all eyes were on him as the new captain. And this comes after, like, his big savior moment. It's like, okay, well, that the heat of that moment is gone. You saved those people. Cool, that's your job. And now it's back to just the normal crappiness of, oh, there's a dude killing a bunch of people. And now we have these rumors that he's grilling them up, and chopping them to pieces. So, him going through that and him having that moment at the end where they actually thank him, it's like, okay, this is Captain James Gordon. This is Jim going towards, being that character that he's kind of known for. And this is like that, really, this is the second step. This is the first step, is him being captain. But him being the hero in that situation when Bullock was the screw up, that was the first step to him being kind of what we know. But this is definitely that first part of him as an actual captain. So looking forward to how everything's going to play out. Excited for the episode coming up. It does seem like it's going to be pretty intense, so I'm looking forward to that. It seems like all the other side stories that I love are coming into play, because we are going to have De Niro's come back. We're going to have Selena, Tabitha, and Barbara come back. We still don't know what's going on with Barbara. Like, the whole thing with them putting their hands together with her and Raish, we still don't know what that means. So I'm kind of just waiting for her to like get shot in the head or something, and then she comes back to life because he gave her like some weird magical essence or something like that. But still don't know what's going on there, but I'm super excited for the next episode. But of course, we'll love to know what you guys thought about this one, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it, and I would love to know your theories on what's going on between Sophia and Penguin. Like, where's that gonna go? Why didn't Penguin, get her killed? I just want to know what you guys are thinking about that current situation, because it's just so up in the air. I can't tell if everything she's doing is a plan. I can't tell if he wants her dead anymore, if he's going to want her dead now that he got the kissing information. Does that make him go after Jim, or does that make him go after Sophia? So there's so many ways it can go. I just want to know what theories you guys have, and even what you want to see, from that storyline, how you want to see it go. So definitely let me know about that. And of course, like I said, want to know what you guys thought about the episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.